Wonder if I could pen him through the cheeks. That'd be funny. Oh, I can. I'm worried I'm gonna get shot by the Yutas here. Oh, just as I say it. Hey there, I'm Chicken Farmer. Welcome to my channel. This is the first of a new series of videos that I'll be making on World of Tanks and War Thunder, and just kind of doing tank reviews and maybe something along those lines of each game. I'll probably be just alternating back and forth between the two. Sometimes maybe I'll post more videos of one than the other, but it'll just be what I feel like or what the comment section tells me to do. As someone that's not great at either of these games, I kind of want to give some reviews from the standpoint of a very average player to you guys. I feel like a lot of tank review videos go into way too much detail and don't really give you just the raw experience of the vehicles. And I just want to share with y'all what it actually feels like to play these vehicles. I don't put much effort into playing these games, I just kind of play to play. I feel like that part of the community really isn't represented in the World of Tanks or War Thunder community. I'm sure you have some creators that come at it from a very casual standpoint, but I just want to take a shot at it myself. I've spent many years playing both of these games, World of Tanks more than War Thunder, and I've spent way too much money on both of these games. Again, more World of Tanks than War Thunder. I want to be able to share all of my experience and my ridiculous purchase habits with you guys. I in no way mean to flex. I admit all of these pixel tanks are a waste. I will be continuing to do green screen variety videos, but my main focus will be on these tank videos. I've realized how much time and effort goes into my green screen videos and realized that they are not easy to get out consistently. That's why I feel like doing these tank videos will be a lot more consistent, and I think YouTube will like that and hopefully will allow me to grow. I am not a tank game only YouTuber. I am just focusing on that form of content for the time being. These videos I feel like I can get out quite often and require a lot less effort than my green screen videos do. So I will be planning to post a green screen video about once a month, possibly, depending on how much time these videos take from that. Enough with the over explanation, let's get into this video. Let's kick off this series with a vehicle that was probably my most anticipated tank to ever be released during my time of playing this game, the Chieftain Prototype. We heard rumors about the Chieftain Prototype being added to World of Tanks, I believe in early 2022. At that time, no one knew really any of the final statistics, and everybody was a little concerned as to what this tank was going to perform like. When I heard about it, it did pique my interest quite a lot as someone that does not plan on getting the Clan Wars reward Chieftain. Although it may be the most competitive tank in the game, the process of getting it is not worth it for me. That's why this thing really piqued my interest, hearing as though I might be able to get my hands on a tank that resembled such a strong vehicle in this game. Now that some time has passed since its release, you really don't see these things a lot in the matchmaker anymore. You'll see them hit or miss, but you'll see them ever so often, but generally they don't flood the matchmaker after everybody that got their hands on it realized that it wasn't as good as what they thought it was going to be when it was first released. It may have the Chieftain name, but it is nowhere near as competitive, tier for tier, as the Clan Wars Chieftain. The Chieftain Proto is a tier 9 premium heavy tank that was released in loot boxes during the Waffenträger event for 2022. Yet another gambling vehicle. We have yet to see it sold in the store as of December 2022. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing in the black market for 2023. But right now, as it stands, the only way you could have gotten your hands on it was through the Waffenträger event. As for its statistics, it boasts a pretty punchy gun. Along with above average survivability and mediocre maneuverability, this vehicle plays exactly as I would expect a tier 9 heavy tank to play. Its statistics are quite lackluster. With some equipment, it can make the statistics a little bit more desirable, but just not to the level that most players would expect from a Chieftain. Now, as for firepower, it has a 119mm cannon with 400 average damage, which is decently punchy for tier 9. It's nothing over the top. It's honestly under average when we look at other Russian heavy tanks at tier 9. Even tier 8 Russian heavy tanks have more damage per shot. Now with its stock reload time of 11.5 seconds, it comes out to 2000 DPM standard. That is with no equipment, no trained crew, none of that, which is very lackluster when we look at its peers. Its accuracy is also just as lackluster with 0.35 dispersion. It does not feel like 0.35 dispersion by any means. It feels way worse. Its penetration is pretty average for a tier 9 heavy tank, with 262 on its standard and 310 on its premium. One special thing about this tank is its HE shells. They're actually HESH with 120 millimeters of penetration, which is definitely worth bringing a few of these in for your lighter armored targets. Even some heavier armored targets can be penetrated in some small spots with HESH. These HESH shells are absolutely wonderful. Although I use them in situations I probably shouldn't be using them in, it's just so satisfying when you're hitting such high damage shots. When it comes to mobility, it's quite average with a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour. It has enough maneuverability to work, it just leaves a lot to be desired. When it comes to armor, it definitely lives up to its name, although it does have a decent sized weak point on the top, which if you're sitting on a hill like you're intended to in this thing, it mostly negates that weak point. It makes it pretty hard to hit, and if you use your gun correctly, you could just make it disappear altogether while you're reloading. That is in a perfect situation. It does have 10 degrees of gun depression, which makes it a very solid ridgeline warrior, especially having such a small weak point. If you catch this thing and not on a hill, the armor is quite lackluster, and there are many spots that you can penetrate easily with a tier 8. Or even tier 7 tank. This tank cannot side scrape to save its life. Not even reverse side scraping can save it. This thing is designed to sit on a hill and sit on a hill alone. Now, if we give it the Jagdpanzer E100 test, given the right situation, this thing could bounce a Jagdpanzer E100's heat shell. Now, it does pretty much become butter, but there are some massive areas where a Jagdpanzer E100 can't even pen. I do have to give props to the balancing team in the fact that you can deal with this thing in tier 7 tanks. Now, if you're stock grinding a tier 7 tank, you might have some decent troubles dealing with the Chieftain Proto. You could still, in theory, deal with this thing as a tier 7 tank as well. Enough numbers. I'm going to put up some clips of some better moments I've had in this thing. Then I'll play a live match. Oh, I didn't even realize the Centurion was even there. Sometimes this thing will forgive you for making mistakes. Well, that was rude. At least I bounced the grill. Ah, I didn't even realize I had a HE shell loaded. I'm impressed he even hit that shot. Why was he even trying to cross? Use the terrain around you, folks. Use hills like this little bit, this little tiny hill. Just makes it to where I can get full gun depression and also hide my weak points. It's wonderful. And that's a Foch 155, which is not really that scary if I can get completely hull down. I'll be completely honest with you, but there we go. Teamwork. Just a little concerned about Artie. Oh, I 7 managed to hit me. It's impressive. I'm only gonna be able to pen him with premium. That sucks. Wonder if I could pen him through the cheeks. That'd be funny. Oh, I can. Man, Artie keeps you from camping, right? I feel like the teenager is gonna hit my weak point. I might be able to hit that. No. He is full focusing me, man. He doesn't even care about the guys that are like up his asshole. Dude, Artie. Artie keeps me from camping. So Cliff. Cliff is not the greatest map for this vehicle. There's really not many great hull down positions that aren't exposed to a million sight lines. It's very easy to get shots on hull down tanks in this map, which is a good thing, but it's not a great thing. A good thing for the game, not great for the Chieftain Proto. Chieftain Proto, you do not want to play anywhere but where you can be hull down. You just want to be hull down with this tank. You can be aggressive, but you really don't want to push if you don't have a team to back you up. The enemy team, when they see Chieftain in the name, they will instantly want to shoot you first. And which, fair to them. I mean, Chieftain is the most competitive tank in the game. Chieftain FE4 201 or whatever it's called. The tier 10 Clan Wars reward tank. But this Chieftain Proto is genuinely just a balanced tier 9 heavy tank. It plays exactly like I would want a heavy tank to play. My goal here is to get up to like the 9 line on the outside of the map on the cliff edge where I can get hull down. And since we own the hill right now, we can dominate their side of the map. This Charfutier is being very, very aggressive, which kind of sucks, but luckily we have guys on the hill shooting him. Honestly, I didn't realize I had line of sight there. This Charfutier realizes his mistake. Good on him. And is actually trying to save himself. I'm playing a little stupid here, which can work out decently in the Chieftain Proto. It's just not recommended by any means, which this is exactly why. Because, you know what? I do not want to play this aggressive, because I do not have any backup, and I think this game's a wash. Well, Chieftain armor holding up. Represent. Up. Charfutier armor holding up for real. Holy shit. I can't believe he bounced that. Now, this is not the greatest hull down position. I can't really get enough gun depression to hide most of my weak point. Also, he doesn't really have the biggest weak point ever. With my accuracy, it's going to be hard to hit a weak point here. That's when this thing kind of struggles, is when you're sitting in a hull down fight against something that has a pretty small weak point. This thing just has trouble hitting those shots. It has trouble hitting pixel angles. It's damn near impossible. Which, hey, good on the balancing team on that one. I don't give the balancing team much credit because they don't deserve it most of the time, but on the Chieftain Proto, definitely deserve praise for the balancing department at wargaming. Yeah, of course, I'm not gonna push out. This charioteer is playing smart. He's not being hella aggressive, which, good on him. It's very rare that a team actually has brain cells for me. They're just trying to bait out the shot at this point, which I'm gonna take it when I get it. Which, honestly, is not a good play for him, so I'm gonna have the advantage here. Might focus out the char just to... Nope, never mind. RNG is going to be on their side here. Just get down enough to hit. Oh, don't slide. Don't want to slide. I just want to focus one of the two out. He's going to try and be really aggressive, which doesn't really work out for him because he can't get the gun depression. Wait for him to take the shot and then guarantee my shot, because I know he has a decently long reload. I didn't really know where to aim there, to be honest. I might just aim for the cupola now, even though it's probably going to be not great for my is that a JoJo reference? It's not funny. I think this match is a wash. Honestly, I mean, this is the Chieftain experience, the Chieftain Proto experience. It's really underwhelming. Like, it's Not bad, don't get me wrong. It's underwhelming, but not in a bad way. Which, I'm a massive fan of underpowered tanks. I just love playing them for some reason. Not 100% sure why. I don't really want a snapshot. This thing is definitely not designed for snapshotting. I'm worried I'm going to get shot by the Yutas here. Oh, just as I say it. See, their Vipera. Their Vipera is really proving my point as to why people say they are balanced tanks. He's not playing his tank correctly by any means. You see, he's in a position he can't get hull down in. What I mean by those tanks are the Italian tank destroyers. They are hull down gods. They are the best hull down tanks we have ever had in World of Tanks. Yet he's playing in a position where he cannot get hull down, or at least in a decent hull down position. He's being a detriment to himself by playing that way, and he's a detriment to his team by not playing his tank to the best he can. Take me, for example. I don't take the game seriously, and yet I still manage to play decently and not really carry by any means, but just help my team to win. You can definitely carry in this tank, but generally speaking, you're not going to be. Like, that's the Chieftain Proto. It's nothing crazy. It's more overwhelming or underwhelming than anything. That's all I can ask for. Thanks to my team for pushing through and securing this win. I doubt I'm going to hit this shot here. For being a tier 9 heavy, it honestly plays exactly as it should. I really wouldn't expect more from this vehicle. Really wouldn't expect any less from a Chieftain. But as you can see, making the money. I mean, it is with premium. But even if I didn't have premium, I'm still making 62k because I didn't fire... I don't believe I fired a single premium shell that round. But that's just your average game in the Chieftain. It's just an alright tank. It's fun. It may be boring to some because you're hull down, but it's honestly pretty balanced, and that's all I can ask for. I don't think I have much more to say on this thing. I guess that'll be it for the video. Please leave a comment on any vehicles that you'd like to see me make a video on, whether it be in World of Tanks or War Thunder. I don't have a large selection in War Thunder, but I do in World of Tanks. So if there's any vehicles you'd like to see a video made on, let me know. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. If you really enjoyed, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And yeah, have a chill day.